What's up, fellow YouTubers? We're back at it with another video. My Google AdSense money hasn't come in yet, but thankfully I had a fan anonymously donate some money earlier. I appreciate that. They wish to remain anonymous. Um, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about some of the current issues that have been going down. And I talked about the protesting earlier on YouTube. Some of you might have gotten offended because I tend to go a little too far with what I say it. But the truth of it is, people are killing each other, and it's dumb. It's stupid. I was at a friend's house playing a video game on their PS4, and they were playing it. I was watching, checking this cool video game out, and then out of nowhere I hear a gunshot go off, and I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. So I pretty much just stayed there until everything was kosher. Which personally I thought that was kind of unnecessary, because the protests here in town that we had today for Black Tuesday were very peaceful. No one got shot. People were being told to stand down, but they didn't, and they did it in the most non-threatening way possible, which, that's how you do it. But here's the problem with it, dude. After all the shit that's been going down, I read some of the shit people post on Facebook, and this one whiny asshole was going off about the All Lives Matter bullshit. And I just went off on the dude. Like, I got to keyboard status and whipped out my phone. I was like, okay, hashtag some lives matter, hashtag blue lives matter, hashtag black lives matter, hashtag all colors are important, hashtag power to the people. Now, before you hate on this video, give it a chance. You can still hate on it in the end, but this is just me speaking my personal opinion. It's an age-old saying, assholes ruin it for everyone. Leave that hat off for a bit. It's a little tight, but it'll break in. And this is why I'm not worried about my YouTube money right now. It's because there are bigger problems in the world we face today. And I wish I had all the money in the world to make it just go away. But I don't. Furthermore, I get why people are protesting, but there are other ways to protest. This is why I make my rant videos whenever I feel like, hey, you know what? This is some bullshit. I don't like the way this is playing out. So here's my opinion. You don't like it? That's your opinion, man. Now, my family did in fact join the march, and they posted about it later on Facebook. I imagine that was quite stressful for a lot of people. But you can't blame the tensions for being high, considering what they're protesting. Mr. Floyd was murdered by a racist cop. Not only one, but four of them, and they're being persecuted and charged. About goddamn time. Personally speaking, I get tired of it too, because it gives us whiteys a bad name. That's my take on it. I cannot begin to understand what it's like for African Americans to go through that, and I do feel white guilt over it. I want to change it. But sometimes it's not your fight to fight. For them it's going to be confusing because they see you as the perpetrator and now you're trying to help them. And that's fair. Well, think about it. That'd be like some asshole hitting you on the head with a hammer and then throwing the hammer in a different direction and then pretending like they didn't do it and then going, hey, I'll help you find the asshole who did it. Now, it's one thing to feel white guilt and want to make a difference. And if you want to make a difference, don't get offended when black people are racist towards you. Just laugh at it. Because life is funny like that. As an example, for the documentary, when I was eating at Buffalo Wild Wings, there was a group of individuals rapping in the bathroom, and the urinal was out of order, so I'm waiting patiently in line to use the stall, not minding anyone else's business but my own, not being disrespectful. I get pretty good on the rapping myself, but I could have already seen the comments. They would have been like, look at Eminem over here. Which would not have been an insult to me because Eminem's a very successful white rapper. That's beside the point. I walk into the stall, take a piss, I close the door like an adult. And I'm sitting there taking a whiz, and one of them assholes throws a wet paper towel over the stall and it lands next to me, and they shout, "King Cobras are racist." And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, I guess that makes me white trash. I just said that, and I laughed. I get out of the bathroom stall, they're all mean mugging me, I wash my hands, and I'm like, whatever, dude. And then I went to the table, drank a couple sips of beer, and ate some of the hottest wings they had to offer. I mean, this is why I go to hang out with friends. I try to escape the realities that are unfolding on social media, all the bullshit in our society. It's just like, it's nice to just hang out with some friends, play some video games, and just chill. But then the shit happens in your own fucking neighborhood, and you're just like, And of all the things of it, I left my cell phone charger at home. And at first I'm like, man, that sucks. But I'm like, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? It could be worse, dude. I don't mind turning the phone off for a couple hours, just visiting with people. That's the problem with technology. We're slaves to it. But you want to talk about some bullshit? You got Nuka Zeus over here risking potential skin cancer because he thinks he's a black dude who hates white people. He's like literally a reverse ruckus. All them damn whiteys are goddamn crackers in their NASCAR. I gotta have a little bit of humor with the video. I mean, Now, growing up as a kid, if you did blackface, you were considered a racist. Yet somehow, this guy's transracial, and that's the thing. I mean, then you got people who claim to be trans disabled, and I'm like, whoa, hold up, no, stop, back up, just stop. Can we draw the line at transgender and just, yeah. I mean, like, if you want to get plastic surgery to make your ears look like an elf because you think you're an elf, that's one thing, you know. But flat out saying that you're an attack helicopter, I mean, we. Now, once all the escalation of the incident near where I was hanging out died down, I walked home. I had my wand out, turned on the lights. I tell you what, though, if a cop's having a bad day, you tell them a funny joke, and they just sit there busting their ass laughing, yeah, just like what Gabriel Iglesias said. Am I right? So if I build my custom hot rod, they pull me over just to check out the car. I'm gonna have some fun with it, man. Like, whoa, slow down, hot rod. That's a nice car you got there. That's when I look at him. I go, could you imagine Sam Elliott doing a commercial for the 2020 Prius? The all new 2020 Prius. If you don't mind your friends making fun of you or picking their asses up when they run out of gas, or having them pull your ass out of the snow when your car gets stuck with the Jeep. Or maybe you want to travel from New York City to California and cut down on your carbon footprint. Now, in some way, shape, or form, this is the truth of it. Like, one time I was hanging out with some friends of mine. We were in the waiting room at a hospital, and it was taking forever. People in there just looked miserable. And I mean fucking miserable, dude. So a telemarketer calls me on my cell phone. What do? I put the telephone on speaker, and it's some dickhead trying to sell me auto insurance. So I'm like, can we get the name and make and model of your car? So I said, yeah, 1926 Model T. They thought about it for a second, and then they just freaking hung up. And everyone in the room who saw that go down was laughing their asses off. And I'm like, that's how you deal with telemarketers, people. I tell you what, don't get mad at them, just fuck with them back a little bit. I mean, there are some real desperate, sick fucks out there. You get these assholes on social media who are whining about how all lives matter. I'm like, listen here, you insensitive prick. Some dickhead calling you with a Windows Microsoft scam trying to fucking steal your identity because he's too much of a lazy asshole to go get a fucking job at McDonald's like the rest of us. Oh, did I say that out loud? But that's just the top of the list. Some asshole was whining about this crap on Facebook, and I was like, well, pedophiles suck, so their lives don't matter. You want to sit there and say all lives matter? Fuck you. Motherfucker. But then here's the best part of it. This is what is making whites look bad, is if we point out racism towards African Americans, us whites, some of us are quick to say, well, it happens to us too. Yeah, it does, but not to the same degree, dude. And the sad truth of it is, yes, people are killing each other, and it's sad. To quote the song When the Children Cry by White Lion, we're men is killing men, and no one knows just why. 'Cause you were born into this evil world. No copyright intended. You know, and this is just the crap that makes me as a white person feel really uncomfortable. Because I don't know how to stop it. I could wave my wand and cast a spell, and that's the best I could do. I mean, or better yet, make a video. Maybe I'm not out in the streets protesting, but at least I'm doing something. Also, I heard Trump wants to legalize pot. Makes you kind of wonder if that video I made about it being worth $50 billion based off the $1 billion tax off of how much Colorado makes, And the joke I made about Trump would shit gold bricks if he had $50 billion right in front of him. It was good, clean political humor, of course, but, social media has a way of reaching people. I've seen people use social media to do good things for, you know what I'm saying? And I've also seen people use social media to hurt. Johnny Cash is hurt. Yeah, buddy. And that's just it. Like, I'm not even shitting you. Like, I saw two posts on Facebook that people posted on today that literally offended me. One of them was about some convicted SOs that happened to be black, and I'm like, really, dude? That's just really shitty timing. And on top of that, this other person posted some shit about how it's okay to love yourself if you're white. And I'm like, bro, now is not the time to make that. Yes, it is, but no, bro, no, that's not the time to say that. Why are we. It's the kind of shit that makes you want to go, I need a beer. In fact, I might just get one tomorrow. Observe a moment of silence for Mr. Floyd. You think you have it bad. Could you imagine, dude? You know, I hate the stereotypes. I hate them so goddamn much. Stereotypes are a bitch, dude. And that's just the thing of it. Thank you for observing that moment of silence with me. That's just the thing of it. We're in the midst of a goddamn pandemic. So starting a riot's just gonna make it worse. Anyone say straight to hell tonight? No, I'm just kidding. No, Satan often gets a bad name for being the bad guy, but if you read the Bible, Satan only kills 10 people, and God supposedly kills a shit ton more. But then Christians are so quick to, and Pentecostals are so quick to give people shit for practicing magic. But Exhibit 3234, that's the holy anointment oil, which sounds like a potion. And then in the Bible, it also talks about Moses parting the Red Sea with his staff. Completely irrelevant, but my point being is that it's understandable when women are sexist towards men because men are the same way to them. And if we're going to understand anything regarding racial relations or gender relations, we need to understand that, unfortunately, sexism and racism happens to all races and all genders. I mean, and you want me to be a dick about it? Look at Milo, for instance. That whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, like they're saying that they identify as a non-binary transgender, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Non-binary means you don't identify with either sex. She's sitting there saying men are just pigs, but she's trying to become one. Now that really makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? No, it don't. Oh, wait. And she's sitting here calling everyone a racist, and I'm like, hold on a second. If I'm such a fucking racist, then why the fuck am I on this rant? And if anyone YouTube poops this video, you're the biggest piece of shit on the planet, I tell you what. Now, I don't need a beer to drink on camera, but I tell you what, I could go for another glass of that water. It's good to stay hydrated. Now here's the thing of it. If you're protesting Black Lives Matter, but you're returning that same violence towards cops who have done nothing to anyone to deserve it, instead of arresting the ones who are doing it, you're only going to make the problem worse. Believe me, YouTube, making this video is a really touchy subject. I mean, you talk about gun control or abortion rights in this country, and hoo-wee, people will start conversations about it, I tell you what. Now, being as Wyoming is somewhat of a gun-friendly state, we don't have very many shootings in the state, thankfully enough. And which is good. However, there were two things in owning a gun you should know. One, treat it like it's loaded. Two, keep it empty unless you're at the shooting range, blasting at paper targets and such. If you have to get a safe for it, then do so. You know, guns don't just get a bad name because of police brutality. There's also bullshit mass shootings and accidental discharges. And here's the sad but ugly truth of it. Humans have been killing each other since the dawn of time. Look at the Bible that these Christians love to read about. All the mass stonings and such. I'm not trying to offend anyone of a certain religion, I'm just making a fair point. Unfortunately, humans have been killing each other since the dawn of time. It's only evolved from a guillotine to an AR-15. And that's the sad truth of it, dude. No one's going to argue when a well-trained military official uses an AR-15 to stop a terrorist, and win one for America and for freedom and democracy. But when it's used for ill intent, just like any other gun, it gets a bad name. Personally speaking, AR-15s are overrated. That's just my opinion. I think they're polymer pieces of shit, but that's just my opinion. No, I think if you want to have an AR-15, you have to be 21 or older because it shoots a pistol cartridge. And limit of 30 rounds or less per magazine. No bump stocks and no silencers. And stricter background checks. that's tough but fair. And if, I don't know, dude, regulation like that, yeah. There's no reason to have a clip that holds more than 30 rounds. Which your average handgun with a clip in the end can hold an average of 12 to 15 depending on how big it is. Now the reason why I say this is because if we educate ourselves on these things, we learn a thing or two. And because of all the negativity associated with AR-15s, they get a bad name. So of course you hear people who just like guns talk a bunch of shit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they just... Yeah, this one lady was off on this tirade about, oh, it's just about men and their dick sizes, and that's when I was like, oh, now we're gonna make it about sexism too. That's freaking lovely. That's the stereotype for guys, though, isn't it? Yeah. It's not about how big our biceps are. It's a pissing contest. That we're just competitive like that. Which is funny for women to say because women are so goddamn catty towards each other. It's like, and you want to call us competitive? That's fucking rich. Oh, when you're examining racial and gender relations, you gotta trudge into some really, really uncomfortable waters. So I'm approaching this video as delicately as I can without being too much of an ass. But to be brutally fair, if your ancestry was enslaved by someone else's ancestry for years and then treated like shit for another couple of years, and it was 2020 and it still didn't stop, you'd be a little pissed about it too, wouldn't you? Yeah. Now, as African Americans and minorities get more rights and are treated as equals, that doesn't mean we start treating white people like shit now, because that's not gonna fucking solve anything. Then they're gonna start their bullshit, and then the cycle's never gonna fucking end. And Michael Jackson was a weirdo, but he made a really good song called "It Don't Matter If You're Black or White." It was a way to protest racism in a catchy tune. I mean, and then you look at John Lennon's Imagine. That's just the thing of it. Why can't it just be peace, love, and chicken grease? Why is it got to be bullshit? Ooh-wee. No, a minority being racist towards a white person, that would be like a feminazi being sexist towards a man, if you really think about it. You want to complain about the issues or do you want to fix them? That's the tricky question, isn't it? And sometimes when you go to fix the issues, you gotta talk about things. You gotta get a discussion started. I don't know, dude. I appreciate the support I get. I'm sitting here thinking about the support I get from my fans, and it's awesome. But when you make videos like this, ooh wee, it's an uncomfortable topic. I'm gonna have to age restrict the video because there was a cigarette smoked in it. Ooh. Ain't that some bullshit? Like, you can smoke a cigarette when you're 21, but when you're 18, you can buy an AR-15. That's ass backwards, man. I'm like, hold up. I get you don't want high schoolers to smoke, but the kids these days are vaping. They're not really doing underage tobacco as much because of all the studies that have come out about how bad it is for you. But then again, fast food's bad for you, alcohol's bad for you, prescription drugs are bad for you. You can advertise alcohol on TV, but if you advertise someone smoking a Winston, ooh wee, that gets them certain types of people's bloods boiling. But advertising for that Big Mac on YouTube, that's fine. That's what irks me about the FDA. We got food that's causing children to hit puberty way too early. We got prescription drugs that have way too many goddamn side effects, but they're more worried about the tobacco we smoke. So now when you go to the goddamn grocery store, it's GMO free, gluten free, free this, free that. It's probably a good thing that my cell phone died because by the time I got done reading the stupid assholes on Facebook posting the all lives bullshit, I was just like, oh, I need to take this and turn it off, stick it in my pockets, I'll charge it when I get home, make a badass night video, and be done with it. That's what I do when I have stuff on my mind. I make video about it. I see trolls trying to bully me on YouTube, and I don't let it affect me because there are people out there going through a lot worse. And that's the goddamn truth. Tell you what. Hashtag some lives matter, though. And that's why I said that, because some people are just assholes who don't deserve to live. And who are we to decide that? Well, that's the bigger question, and that's a lot to think about. That's a whole different. Yeah. I mean, would you let Adolf Hitler be reborn again? No, of course not. That's horrible, but that's my point exactly. I mean, when you're having discussions like this, using extreme examples like that really gets people going, hey, you know what? That's actually a fair point. According to history, Adolf Hitler had a deformed micropenis, one testicle, and it was just grotesque and ugh. That had to be traumatizing for any man, of course, but that's no excuse to do the horrible things he did. He didn't just throw Jewish people in concentration camps. If you had autism or ADHD or a lazy eye or just plain didn't fucking like you, you're a gypsy or you practice witchcraft or, whatever. I tell you what, man. Be one of them old farts that are like, well, back in my day, we had the coronavirus. apparently one of them old farts going, well, back in my day we had the coronavirus. And Corona beer suffered horribly for it. But I showed them it's safe to drink. Bastards. Idiotic bastards. Oof. Now, people are comparing the coronavirus epidemic to the Great Depression. And I'm like, first of all, if you pay attention in history class, or I had great grandparents growing up who had stories to tell, it's not like the Great Depression. Calm down. Are you coughing? Are you coughing up dust logs the size of pencils out of your lung? At least we have rain and snow. It's not dry as fuck for like 4 to 5 years straight. Crops are dead, money's useless. Now, I thought I'd make a video about this because I'm sure it's going to be on the freaking news, and then my idiot trolls are going to be like, oh my god, Cobra, did you see what happened in Casper? Like, see what happened? Well, I was hanging out at a buddy's house when I heard it down the street. And I got home safely, so I'm making a video about it. Like, I'm tired of the way society is doing this shit. We're better than this, goddammit. We're in a pandemic. We should be helping each other. This is just gonna make shit worse. The protests on Black Tuesday here in Casper were very peaceful and very professional. There was no need for that shooting at that one apartment. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag Blue Lives Matter, Red Lives too, because firefighters kick ass too, man, I tell you what. The doctors, they're doing a hell of a job, man. Doctors are just as brave, especially this crazy bullshit. Tell you what. Now you may find this night video controversial. You may find it a little edgy at times. It may get it slightly offensive, but fuck racism. The stereotype that cops hate blacks is no different than the stereotype that Muslims are suicide bombers. I disagree with Muslim faith completely, but I think it's bullshit the way they get treated. Not all of them are like that. You hear a lot of that in our society, don't you? Not all of them are like that. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? There's a price to pay for being brutally honest. You get hated for it. Enough of that nonsense. Ugh. If you like this red pill night video rant, subscribe for more content. I mean, when you examine certain arguments, there's like so many sides to it. It's just, it can be a lot to get into, a lot to unpack, so to speak. Anyways, YouTube, glad y'all are staying safe in the quarantine. I truly think that I get why people are burning down stuff because they're pissed, but I just feel like that's gonna make the situation worse. You know, and I don't want my videos to come off as racist, but when you're talking about issues that aren't yours to fight, some people are gonna take it that way. That's just how it is. You can't change that no matter how much you want to. The problem with our society, there's too much negativity and violence. You can't necessarily stop the negativity. People are always going to hate, but you can stop the violence. Life in itself is a dramatic comedy, if you think about it. If you see life as a drama, you're easily upset. If you see it as a comedy, it makes you think. I follow some of the stories that I see on the news and stuff, about how people are going from fighting segregation to wanting to be segregated. And it just baffles me, dude. I'm sitting here like, wait, what? Dude. Wait. Now tomorrow I'm going to do another gender relations video, but for now I wanted to make this one, let y'all know what's been going down in my neck of the woods and kind of give you my insight on it. I do appreciate you watching, and hashtag power to the people.